Okay, it's July of 2015, and this weekend is going to be the first big setup for my tank trail. So I wanted to kind of get some stuff on record for future use so I can look back and see where I was at the beginning of this year. And these are three of my very best tanks and the radios that they run on. My only other hobby grade tank is a Mado all-metal Panzer III that runs on a Clark board, but that's in the house. I'm still working on it. So from left to right, that's an IMEX full metal Tiger 1. It's IR. It runs on an IBU 2. It's got an impact apple, and the radio for it is the Turnigy 9X. That's been a pretty good package, and I really like it. That tank is darn near completed. I want to do some more detailing to it, and eventually I want to get rid of the molded on Pioneer tools and all that other cheesy stuff that I don't like, the stuff that I've already done to the other Tiger, the S33, but we'll get to that in a second. So that's going to be my main Tamiya compatible IR battle tank for this battlefield. If I ever go to Danville, I'm going to build a tank just to go to Danville with. And I still haven't even decided what kind of tank it's going to be. I've got a lot more research to do on that, and I'm going to listen to a lot more arguments from a lot more guys before I make up my mind. The tank in the middle is what started out as my Henglong Jagdpanther that I paid like $115 for. About the only thing on it now that's Henglong is the hull top and the airsoft unit. The lower is the Asiatam metal that I got from DKLM. It's got metal tracks, shoulder wheels, sprockets, idlers, blah blah blah. It runs on a IBU2. It's airsoft. It runs on the Hobby King 6-channel radio. I still got a little bit of work to do to this tank. It's almost completed. I want to try and get one of the toggle switches to control a Turnigy remote receiver switch. A Turnigy receiver controlled switch is what it's called. It's basically just an on-off switch, and I want one of them toggle switches to run it so that I can turn my smoke unit on and off, because the smoke unit in that tank runs on direct battery and it does not run through the IBU2. I'd also like to eventually get a Viper in there and get volume control. The IR tanker has already got the Viper, and there's not much else I'm going to do to that. Now the Tiger on the right with the camo from Kursk is the S33, and unlike the other two, this is modeled on an actual tank that actually served in World War II. The S33 took part in the Battle of Kursk in July of 1943, the largest tank battle that the world has ever known. It's not, I don't know, I'm happy with it and I'm unhappy with it. My camo lines are way too wide, but I've done a lot of work to this tank. It started out as an all-plastic IMEX, and it's almost all metal now. Pretty much the only thing that hasn't been converted over to metal is the driver and assistant driver's hatches. Other than that, it's pretty much totally complete. It's even got stowage on it. It still runs on stock electronics. That's because I really want to put an ASP in this tank. This is an airsoft tank, and this is going to be the subject of my very next project, which is going to be glow-in-the-dark BBs for the airsoft, with the UV LEDs in the magazine or hopper to charge up the BBs, and we're going to see what kind of tracer effect we can get. I'm going to go with the bloody red, man. So those are the three that I like the best. I'm going to fire them up and let them run one by one. Like I said, this video is mainly for myself, for later. This tank has really been a joy to put together. I just did a thread on the turret operation and getting it smoother, and the work I did there really paid off for me. That turret just glides around there now. Put a new flash unit in it. It runs on the impact apple. This tank has a special IR emitter in it that was recommended to me by a guy in the land of Oz. And this IR emitter has a special flux capacitor attached to it. And if you make me angry during a battle, I can remotely turn that flux capacitor on, and the next time your tank takes a hit from mine, it will not only register a hit, it will burst into flames and melt into a tiny little puddle in the dirt. So tick me off at your own risk. Anyway, love this tank. This is Cold Start. I pretty much like all the sound files on this one. There's a couple on the Jagd Hunter that I want to change. I want this machine gun in the Jagd Hunter. Don't like the one in the Jagd Hunter. Very easy tank to drive, get very good control. When the Apple is installed, it'll flash when I turn the smoke unit on, which I just did. I can see smoke from here. Probably not on video, but I can see it. That V2 smoker, that's a stock V2 IMAX smoker in there for 10 bucks. That's going to be my go-to unit all the time. You'll see the one in the Jagd Hunter in a minute. If you're watching. Like I said, this is mainly for me. Not making this video for any real special purpose. Just a record for later. Ran into a stump, man. Careful. Knocked my little tracks right off and everything. Better put a red flag on that stump. Next up, the Jagd Hunter. This tank has separate switch for the smoke. That's what I want to put on the Turnigy receiver control switch. That's the smoke unit. Probably didn't see any of that, did you? Sorry, gang. Like I said, it's for me. That's the Jagd Hunter. It's should be getting smoke anytime now. Runs on the Hobby King. What is it, the TK6 6-channel radio. This one's already got the warm white LED. You might be able to tell the difference from the what's in the Tiger. Turned off the track recoil. Still got to do the timing on the airsoft. See, the airsoft cannon didn't even fire that time. It's going to fire right away at the beginning this time, though, pretty much almost exactly like it should. That was, yeah, if I could make it do that every time, that'd be cool. Getting smoke. Cold start. This tank's almost all done cosmetically. I still want to do the spare track link. Getting good smoke now, it's getting warm. This tank's harder to drive. It's a lot harder to turn. It takes a different methodology, almost more like a Clark board. Turned up the power to reverse a little bit too. Needs a better airsoft unit. This one was good. It seems to be getting worn out. This is also the IBU-2. I love this tank. The S-33 will always be my favorite, but this is now my number 2 for sure. I love this tank. Did a lot of work to this track cable, tow cables, jacking block, a lot of little details. That's got my patented, I don't even have a name for it, the Awesome Smoker. Full speed ahead and damn the torpedoes. Full power. Same stump. I gotta put a red flag on that thing. Oh, here's an interesting feature about this one. Right out of the box, when I hit this, it fires the airsoft. You have to turn it back up. Interesting, eh? Okay, last but not least, the S-33. Still on stock electronics, but man, I just love this tank. The stock electronics are really not that bad. If I could get proportional speed control for turret rotation, I might just keep it on stock. I'd like to get on-off on the smoke and volume control at the TX, but if I get those 3 things, man, I wouldn't have any reason to spend all that money on a hobby grade board. Almost all my airsoft tanks have got Komodos. That's why you don't see track recoil in this. My 2 stock IR tanks have also got Komodo boards in them. This tank is a beast. Running on the black steel gearboxes, but the ones with bearings at the axle, not the bushings. The IR Tiger runs on the latest gearboxes with bearings every darn where. But these are black steel and they're fairly new gearboxes. They work really good. As I said, she is a beast. That's why I want proportionals on the turret so that I can aim my darn airsoft cannon. I will never get tired of doing that. This is the one that's going to get glow in the dark easy. That's going to be awesome. Okay, that's my video. Now I'm going to go ahead and make some videos for other guys that I told them I would. See you next time.